Welcome to the crypto weekend. Let's get started with the historical returns of Bitcoin and Ethereum for the Q1 period. The historical returns, so we're in Q1 now. And for Bitcoin, the historical returns for Q1 are 52.48% with a median of 4.67%. Now, that big 52% is going to be halving years. And you can see, the year after the halving. That's what we're in now. We are now in the year after the halving. We are in the blow off top period. So we're looking at 2013. We're looking at 2017. We're looking at 2021. Okay, these are the 3 years we're looking at right now because that is where we are right now. So 2013, we got a 539% move. 2017, we got a 12% move. And in 2021, we got a 100% move. Huge moves, except for 2017 was kind of a dud for that. That came in Q2 where we got 123%. But Q2 in 2013 was a minus 4% and in 2021 was a minus 40%. So what we're looking for right now is if we get a huge move in Q1 of 2025, we're probably going to expect Q2 to be the weak, the dipping quarter going into the absolute blow off top. So we're looking for that. We want to see Q1 to be real positive and then drop off in Q2 to reset, and then Q3, Q4. Q3 will be kind of flat, and then Q4 we're looking for that massive move up, just like we had in 2017. Like 2017 just never ended, right? We got a bad Q1 or a weak Q1, not a bad Q1, and then the rest of the year was just insane. And then in 2021, we got a great Q1, a bad Q2, and then Q3 and Q4 were kind of more muted and not as intense. And then in 2013, we had a great Q1, a bad Q2, and then Q3 was kind of, it was all right, and then Q4 was amazing. So we're looking for that sort of dynamic to play out again now because we are in the blow-off year. This is the final year of the cycle. After this year, it is done until we get to the bottoms probably in 2027, maybe 2026 to 2027, somewhere in there. Okay, so that is what we are looking at right now. This is the end game for the Bitcoin cycle. Right now we are in it, and this quarter is going to tell us a lot about what's going to happen. So we're either going to get a blow off quarter now and have some weakness in Q2 and Q3 before we get some more moves out of Q4, or we're going to get a weak quarter now and potentially the rest of the year just rally. So that's what we're looking at right now for Bitcoin. Okay, Ethereum. So this is Ethereum. It has its time to shine now. So Q1 average returns are 83%. Q2 average returns are 66%. Q1 and Q2, the first half of the year, is fantastic for Ethereum. There are only 2 years in Q1 where we've had negative moves. Okay, there are only 2 years in Q2 where we've had negative moves, and were any of those the year after the halving, the blow off year? Let's look. See, 2017, 500%. 2021, 160%. 2025, probably going to see triple-digit returns in Q1 for Ethereum, which means Ethereum is going to be going up. That means it's altcoin season. That means things like Digital are going to do exceptionally well, along with Ethereum, because they own the most Ethereum of any publicly traded company. And then if we go to Q2, 2017, 400%. And then 2021 was 18%. So Q2 might not be as strong. We're looking for that Q1 strength. We're looking for that Q1 to be a massive move for Ethereum. And if it's not, we're going to be having a bad time. So hopefully we see that out of Ethereum and we don't get too much of its thunder stolen by the likes of Sol and Sui here for Q1. And my Digital is hoping for it to be the case. All right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin Magazine Pro. It used to be Look Into Bitcoin. So if you're looking for Look Into Bitcoin and those charts, they are now on Bitcoin Magazine Pro. Took me a minute to find that this morning. We're looking at stock to flow model. This is a really important model to keep an eye on for the top of Bitcoin. Basically, when it turns from like yellow into this lime green color here, the lime green color, something like that, right? That lime green, that means it's pretty much over. Right now, we're still orange. We're still very orange. We haven't even turned yellow yet. And this thing has its predictions up here at $400,000. I don't know if we're going to get that high. So in fact, I'm going to be looking for potentially not even getting to that, like that green might come real early. Like last time it turned yellow, right? And then curled over and then came green again and barely got to that previous high again there. So I am looking for things to start turning yellow. When it turns yellow, I'm going to start getting impatient with some stuff on Bitcoin. But that's stock to flow right now. We're watching for that to turn yellow, and then green. Once it turns green, it's basically done. You got the fear and greed index for Bitcoin. What are we currently at here? We're currently at very high. We're currently pretty high. So it's 72 out of 100. So we are in greed, but not like extreme greed. What's that? Oh, the Marv Z score. Where's that at? And they got the Pi sample top prediction. Ooh, okay. So this one's saying that it's looking for it on September. Looking for that move to cross up in September at $224,000. So I haven't looked at this one before. The Pi cycle top prediction. It's predicting that these moving averages will converge in September somewhere around mid 200,000. That's actually kind of interesting. And if we go to the actual Pi cycle top indicator, you can see we're not really quite there yet. We're looking for that cross up yet. We're still in the bottom half of that. So we're still got time to move up there. Chart I want to look at here before we go into any of the Bitcoin and crypto charts is the Bitcoin active addresses. So right now we've seen since 2021, it's been a bit of a slow grind sideways / down. And we've been coming down dramatically here since September 2023 on active addresses of Bitcoin. So it's been getting more and more consolidated, all right? And we haven't been getting a lot of activity in it in terms of active addresses. It's actually been dropping off, especially since the ETFs have come out. I think a lot of people have probably shifted over to that. But in the past, and this is what we're watching for a spike in this address activity. Somewhere around 1.2 million active addresses is often the area where we see tops coming in for Bitcoin. So when we see this thing spike up in a big way up to like that 120 million or 1.2 million, 1.2 million active addresses. We're probably nearing a top here. That means that the tsunami has come, the retail traders are in it, and it is time for the institutions to take their shirts, basically. That's what we're going to be watching for on this as well. So this is another one to keep up on Bitcoin Magazine Pro is Bitcoin active addresses. Keep that one on your radar. All right, let's go look at the charts now. Okay, so I know that was there's a lot of economic data to cover. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. So let's take a look here. So on the daily chart, we're actually not looking too bad. So we've got a couple of things that aren't great. It does look like we might be looking at a pullback here right now, okay? And it does also look like we might be looking at a bit of the head and shoulders. So we got right here, shoulder, head, and then we come here. We could come back all the way back down to the 50, which would be another shoulder. And that could take us all the way back up to 106,000, maybe even the previous all-time high, if we are to get that move out of it. Now, we could also just flag right here. We could just flag right here and then shoot up, and that would be a move. Let's see, bodies. I like using bodies. That would be the poles about that long. Yeah, that would take us up to about 103,000. That bull flag there has that potential if that's what's going to be going on there. But you can see that so the B extender is showing weakness while average force and stochastic ribbons are showing strength. So that's a bit of a divergence there. I bet you if I brought up an RSI, I haven't looked at an RSI in quite some time, but let's go ahead and bring one up real quick. If we look at an RSI, it's kind of actually not looking too bad. This one is also not looking too bad. Now, we do have a divergence. Okay, let me bring this up. Let me make this bigger. We do have a bit of a divergence here from the fact that the price was way lower over here when we peaked on the RSI, right? And then we got this high price up here, but a much lower RSI, and RSI is trending down, so that's not good. But you can see that we are breaking above the signal line here, and which is also trend lines. Remember, this is something to remember about RSI as well. Trend lines work on RSI as well as on the chart. So this is our trend line for the RSI, right? We break that trend line to the upside. That means that this RSI divergence isn't nearly as scary as it looks, okay? But we do need to break it. So right now we need to hold above the signal line. So we got to hold above 50 on the RSI on the daily. Got to hold above 50 on the RSI on the daily. Have to. And if we're able to do that, then we can get up to this trend line, potentially break it. And if we break that to the upside, well, then we are going to likely retest those highs on Bitcoin. All right, let me turn this one off now. I don't watch the RSI as frequently as I used to. I like my average force indicator. I like BX extender. I like my stochastic ribbons. I just like those. All right. Anyways, let's turn off these. Let's bring up some stuff. Let's turn on a Watson envelope. let's see, what do we got here? We came to the bottom. We're getting close to the top of that thing here. Sometimes we can get a little bit above it. But, you know, anytime, these are the like the extremes, kind of like ATR bands a little bit. So you get to the bottom of it, you tend to see a bounce up. You get to the top of it, you tend to see a bit of a drag down. And if we go to the weekly, that'll give us a nice description. Yeah, see the weekly here? That's not good. The fact that we're holding the top of this thing, we could easily drop down to like $80,000 and still be in a very, very bullish move here. So yeah, we're watching that closely. Bitcoin could potentially be doing some scary things here on the weekly, and this could end up being a month where we see a flash down to 80, maybe even $75,000. Like look on the monthly, we're so far off of this thing, and anytime we've been so far off of this thing, it's been kind of a local top. All right, we've only actually gotten that far. We've only actually gotten outside of the Watson envelope 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and each time we came all the way back in at least halfway. And right now, halfway would be right here. Yeah, at $69,000, $70,000. So keep that in your head right now. That could happen, especially with a wick this big here. Let's take a look. How big is this wick? This is a 12% wick. 12% wicks don't lie. The previous all-time high here was a wick of 13%. What about this one over here, which was the all-time high in 2017? How high was that wick? I bet you I'm going to scare myself real good right now. How high was that wick? That one was a 40% wick. Wow. So we got 12% here. We just had a 12% wick. What about this one? What was this one? What was this one right here? The mid-cycle top. That was a 10% wick. So we could see this thing do a 30% dump before going higher again. That's very possible in Bitcoin. So we're watching that real close. We're watching that real close. This is the month. This is the month. If this is going to happen, this is the month. The miners will suffer if that's to happen. So keep your eyes on that one real close. We could see some scary things happen potentially. Okay, let's go take a look at some other cryptos. Let's have some fun. Let's look at Sol. So Sol on the daily. This area down here was actually some pretty good buys, especially you see this long wick right here on December 20th. That was a signal that things were likely to go sideways here and then go up. So we got a bit of a wedge there, and then it went boom up, popped off that wedge. And now we're looking at holding the 50-day moving average, which is currently at $205.87. As long as we hold that, this would be a nice retest, and that could easily send us higher. And let's see how much higher that could send us. Go from here to about there. That could send us back up to 248. Which would get us into this resistance up here. And if we can close above 248, then we're looking at running at the all-time highs again, getting up to that 300, maybe even higher. So really what I want to see is a takeout of this previous all-time high here at about 264.54. And then from there, we will be open up to something like $300. Let's go ahead and actually go to a monthly. Let me turn on a monthly. Let me turn this off. Let me bring out a fib. And let me turn on the drawings, make sure I don't already have one. I don't. Okay. So you can see how we didn't have a big blow off wick here. Like this was the previous all-time high for Solana in November 2021. Nice big wick there. How tall was that wick? Let's see. That was a 24% wick. Right now we're looking at like a 10% or something. We got a little pullback, which is great. That's healthy. It's going to help us move. Okay. So anyways, let's go over here. Let me bring out my fib, and we're going to go from the bottom to the top. Oop. All right. So as soon as we get a candle that closes above 259.99 there, we got room up to 351. All right. Once we clear 351, we got room to 407. We clear 407, 645 could be a potential move on Solana. So we're watching that real close right now. And with the current formation that we're getting, as long as we hold that 50-day moving average, as long as we're holding the 50-day moving average on this thing, we've got room back up to the 240s and 260s and beyond, right? We get above 260, we close a monthly candle above 260. Well, you better believe that 300, maybe even 350 is going to come soon after that for Solana. So I actually like where Solana is right now. I like what it's doing. I'm not too upset about that. Like this downtrend is clear. This downtrend here is clearly broken right now. And as long as we're holding up above the 50, and honestly, even if we lose the 50, there's a trend line under here that I'm going to draw right now. And I'm going to bring back a whole bunch of drawings real fast when I click this button, and here it is. All right. This one right there, as long as we're holding this trend line right here, we're going to continue bouncing off of it and go higher and higher and higher, maybe even create something of an inverted head and shoulders around this level at the 230 level. And if we get that, we're going to blow this level out of the water here when it happens. Okay. So we're watching that real close for Solana. Let's talk about Ethereum. Since we've talked about Ethereum, it's down a little bit today. Turn off my drawings. This one did a bit of a double bottom, and we are above that double bottom now. So this double bottom could take us all the way back up to about 3,900, maybe even 4,000. Could potentially even come back to touch 4,000 off this double bottom, especially now that we're flagging right here. Average force is going the right way. The extender is not showing greatness, but that isn't done for the day. We'll have to wait for it to close for the day. Everything else on it, though, has been growing higher. The stochastic ribbons are growing, and this slow one is opening up its mouth, gobbling up some of that volume, that liquidity, and it's going to start going higher off of that. So that's what we're watching. This is a month to watch Ethereum. This is a month to be in Ethereum. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Let's take a look at SUI. SUI has been a massive performer right now. It's kind of at the highs. Let me turn off this one. We're kind of at the highs. Let me go. If I go to a Watson envelope, I bet you that's like, yeah, it's above it. So I'd want to see SUI. Like 425 is a good purchase area for SUI, I would think. Potentially even like 440, 450 wouldn't be a bad purchase area for a buy zone for SUI. Near the bottom of that Watson envelope on the daily, and then we'll just watch it kind of bounce on its way up through there. But something about SUI that's exciting is that it's coming to the Phantom wallet, which is traditionally a Solana wallet, but they're going to be adding support for SUI. Lots of things are adding support for SUI. I myself has been participating a lot in the SUI meme coin space. It's been fun, adding to that liquidity in the SUI pool. Now I know I'm just a little small fish, but I don't normally get too much into the meme coins, especially those that aren't traded on major exchanges, but I have been playing with it on SUI. It's been kind of a fun thing to do while we wait for the big move up to come through. But that's something that a lot of other people have also been doing, and Phantom Wallet is going to start supporting it. So that's actually pretty big news for SUI. Let's take a look at the monthly for SUI. Oh yeah, that's really good actually. We had a big wick, but it just drove higher. So look at this. Okay, I've talked about this pattern before. When we see candle bodies just stacking, right? This started in August 2024. The body stacked on top. The next body in September, stacked on top. The body for November, stacked on top. Body for December, stacked on top. Body for January is looking like it's going to stack on top. And then as long as these are stacking, as long as we don't get a red candle coming through, as long as these bodies are stacking, we are growing. And that's pretty exciting. I mean, now this has been lots of months in a row. So I don't know. It could end up getting weak here and coming down. Back to like the 350 level, maybe. I mean, it's potential. We are outside of the monthly Watson envelope, so that's a bit rough. We got to come at least down to 438 to get back into that thing. If we go to the weekly, I bet you we're above it too. Yeah, we're above it there too. We got to come back to about 430-ish to get back in on the weekly. I wouldn't be surprised to see it potentially. 225 would be rough. I see it maybe touching like 350 in a bad day, on a bad day, potentially. But I wouldn't be holding my breath waiting for it. Because we got these tweezers back here in December, and then we had like the hammer candle, and boom, took off. We might just see it come back to 481, and just the Watson envelope will just have to catch up to it at some point. Because like crypto doesn't always pay attention to those things; it doesn't always care. But that is SUI. SUI's been interesting. A lot of things have been on a tear. Crow. I have a big bag of Crow. Okay, I have a really big bag of Crow. And I got real excited when the incoming president had a sit down with the CEO of crypto.com to talk about Bitcoin as a reserve asset. Okay. I have a big old bag of this. And if for some reason crypto.com ends up partnering with the US government for that reserve currency, you better believe that this thing's going to take off. It's going to be beautiful. So we dipped below the 50-day moving average, and we are now above it, and we are flagging. That is good. That flag could take us up into the 18-cent range. Again, that is also off of a breakage. Now, a lot of lines are going to come in. That is also off of a breakage of this trend here almost. We're about to break this trend here. We break this trend, we start coming up higher. That 18, 19, 20 cents is in range again if we do that now. Let me go over here. So I have so many drawings on this one because I look at this one a lot. Okay. Anyways, we came down on that 618 level, and we're getting that bounce, right? We had this big old head and shoulders here. It came to the bottom of that head and shoulders, and we got a move up. We have a bit of a bottoming here. I wouldn't even be upset to see a double bottom come to about 15 cents-ish and then come back above 16, 17 cents and drive higher. This would be the fib level would be 17.10. We get above 17.10 and close some candles above 17.10. We're opened up to 23 cents on this move specifically. And if we close some candles above 23 cents and we're opened up to 29, 30, 33 cents on this one. So I'm watching this closely. And if they're going to be getting government support, yeah, I'm going to be very, very, very laser focused on this thing, especially coming out of this little move right here. Let me draw this thing right here, coming out of here like that, and then about right here. Boom. That little wedge right there, yeah, we could see that come up to 20 cents real fast and higher. Once we start getting candles closing above that 23 cent range, I'm going to be very, very, very excited about my crow position. Anyways, yeah, I do have a big bag of that, just for full disclosure. I do like where they are sitting. I like who they're talking to. I like a lot of stuff that's going on with that. Let's take a look at Doge. How's Doge doing? Doge, oh yeah, Doge had this nice big double bottom. We're finished with that double bottom. This has come to its full move on this double bottom right here, and I'll draw it out for you. Bottom there, neckline right there. Okay, we've completely finished that. We came up into resistance and hit a wall there, but we are flagging. That's a good sign. We are flagging. So once we're done with this flag, this thing could take us a little higher on Dogecoin. So let's go here. We got our body, we got our pole. And yeah, that could take us up to 48 cents again. It could take us right back to the top of the range. And we start getting some closures above 48 cents. Well, then we got room up to 61 cents. Close above 61 cents. We got room up to 69 cents. We close above 69 cents, and we're going to go for the all-time high. Potentially even go over $1 on Doge, which honestly, with Elon being so close to the government and him liking Doge so much, we very likely could see Doge become a really important asset, which is ridiculous to think, but if you know anything about Elon's humor, he absolutely would love that. Would love to be a part of facilitating that to become something important and legitimate out of an absolute joke. So don't be surprised if you see this thing hit $1 at some point. I won't be. I don't have a lot of Doge, but you know, I may consider adding to my position here actually soon, especially if it gets above 40 cents, start adding to it. I mean, that's only a doubling up, a little more than a doubling up, going to $1, but you know, it's just kind of an exciting thing to be a part to hold, I guess, if that's the kind of stuff that's going to be happening. We're not going to look at time. We'll look at Say. Say's coming off of some bad down pressure that has been in for a long time. Let me draw that line. I'll draw it. This right here. We're finally breaking out of that line here. That's great, especially since that's a bit of a wedgy looking thing here. Or is it more of a channel? No, it could be considered a wedge. Got the wicks. Yeah, we're coming out of that. We have a bit of a double bottom right here. I'll show you that real quick. We got this double bottom right about there, but we are failing there. So we got to get above this on Say. We get above that double bottom on Say, then it's got room all the way up to 56 cents, where it will then probably do a little pullback and then try to drive up to 66 cents. And hopefully at some point we can get back up to the 70s and 80 cents. I'd like to see it go back up to 110, 120 here. We know that Coinbase is invested in this. We know that a lot of other venture capital funds for crypto are invested in this thing. So it's not likely to give up super easy given the big investors, but it has been showing significant weakness ever since it did that topping at 115 back in March, and we really haven't seen a lot of movement out of it other than downward move. But we did come up, we made a higher high, and we're making a higher low here, which is higher than this cycle low. So all we got to see now is a new higher high above 73 cents. And I think that we will likely be seeing that either soon. We're going to see it soon or not at all. Basically, that's what I'm saying. We say we're going to see it soon or not at all. So this thing's going to like double in a couple of weeks or a month or two, or I'd probably wash my hands of it. Let's take a look at XRP. Everybody loves XRP lately. XRP's been getting real interesting. It's been getting real important. So let me get rid of some of these drawings, which don't matter anymore. Okay, so it's been consolidating in this area between $2.50 and $2. Okay, anytime you can get this at the lower end of the range, you're going to be doing very well. All right, so anytime it's at the lower end of the range, look for it to come to the higher end of the range. Let's turn on the Watson envelope here. Let's see where, so we're at the top of that. So we could see it come back down to about 220, 217, 220, and around that, which is right by my red line there. And if we pick it up at that red line, yeah, that's probably not a bad area, 220-ish, especially this year. We could see this thing drive up to $3, maybe even $4 or $5 here by the end of the year, which would be, not much more than a 100% move. So, I mean, which is good, but not great. If you really wanted to get that move, you should have been holding it all the way back here from 51 cents in November, at the beginning of November, because since the beginning of November, this thing has driven up huge. So let's take a look at it. So since November, just this year, so we're talking like 60 some odd days ago, we have moved from 50 cents all the way up here. That's 500%. It's not really time to look at this thing and think you're going to get another 500%. You might get another 100%. You might get like another 150, maybe 200%. But beyond that, I wouldn't expect to get much more than that out of this move before it decides to crash. Okay. So I wouldn't be looking at it right where it is right now. This could be an area where I'd be looking for some top side of sort of action. Unless it gets up and above 247, then it could have room up to 273, maybe even $3 again. But I am looking for it to come to about 217, maybe even $2 again, because it's just been in that range. It's been getting, this is a range. So here's what I'm looking at for this. I'm looking for that sideways action right now, which is distribution. So we have so right now down here, this was all accumulation, blow off, move up, followed by distribution by big players. And then once retail really gets sucked in and we get one more little blow off top here above $3, maybe even to $4.50, that will be the last move up before the mega distribution comes in and it dips all the way back down to under sub $2, maybe even back down to $1 or lower. And that'll come real fast in a hurry once, and it'll slap you hard when it does. So I wouldn't be getting super greedy with XRP. I do think that it could hit 455, maybe even $6 by the end of the year. Like, I think it could double or maybe even do 150% sometime this year. But once it's done that, I would not be expecting it to do any more until the next cycle comes around again in 4 years. So be cautious with XRP. It does have a move out of it, has a significant move still out of it, I think, but not as significant as the move that has already occurred. That's all I'm saying for XRP. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.